Hi New Zealand, Steve here from Drive EV. I'm just sitting in this little Honda E. I am on my way back to Taupō. Just been doing a trip down to Wellington to offer some firmware updates to the locals there. And we just thought we'd have a bit of a chat about this Honda E. Now we know a bit more than we did in the last video. I've been driving this car for about 2 months now. Just commuting to work and back really. Drive EV's about 4k's from my house, so it's not too much of a commute. I've really loved it. It's it's been great really. Just it's a good size for just getting in and out of spots. The steering lock is amazing, so being able to enjoy that daily is quite good. There's a little bit of a loop that I do on the yard in the morning, and every morning it makes me laugh that I can do it in one swing on the driveway to get the car out the front. So basically I'm sitting in the car that's been named Pikachu, we first sort of long trip. I delivered one to Napier, customer's car, which we did a video on that, but obviously that was kind of first drive, so it's always hard to give too much wisdom when you're still in the early phases of sort of learning about the car. But I wanted to take this trip down to Wellington to get some real world. It's really a working trip, so get some real world experience on the road and charging and that sort of thing. So the consumption's been a lot better than I expected. I found on the Taupō road, which is pretty hilly but also going downhill, so you generally expect that the range is going to be better than you thought. Better than a more neutral situation. Here comes the train. I'm finding the consumption has been really good on this trip. I've been averaging about 16.1 kilowatt hour per 100k, which is pretty much the same as the ID3 that I drove. I'm on my own. I've got a boot full of work stuff, so I don't really have a load, where when we drove the ID3 we had the whole fam and the boot and the fishing rods and whatnot, so it was fully loaded basically. So the ID3 is definitely more efficient than this, but I think the ID3 is known for being efficient, so that's nothing bad against this little car. But it's so I found the range that gives me about 175 out of a charge, which we've been quoting at 150. We might be a bit light at that. I mean, this is sort of the State Highway 1 for a big part of the North Island. I haven't done the north leg yet, so we'll see how that goes. But I found with the ID3 it used more, but it wasn't massively more. I think with this car, it's rear-wheel drive. It's got a 113 kilowatt motor. It's really fun to drive. It feels super fast for the size of the car. So on my way down, I wasn't driving very efficiently on the desert road. I was having a lot of fun on the corners. So apologise for not providing a super swish, super efficient drive. But hey, if you're driving a Honda E on the desert road, chances are you are going to want to put your foot down when you pull out of the tight 35k corners and head up the steep climbs. Efficiency's been pretty good. So just sort of some comments from the customers who own these, should I say. We've had nothing but positive comments back from them, which is really cool. A lot of excited people. One of the owners, Dylan, who's got the famous Nintendo, which is often spotted on Facebook. I did ask him if he has cars leaning out the window with cameras everywhere he drives, but he made the comment that it's just so cool, the joy that the car brings. Like he was in a mall and came out to someone doing a Photoshop with his car. You know, we've experienced that too. I mean, this car, it just turns heads and it makes people smile and laugh, and you know, and that's a really awesome thing that you don't see that often on cars. So, and especially being electric, obviously that sort of creates the buzz around electric vehicles as well. We had I lent the car to a customer for a quick test drive in Petone yesterday, and he said he was almost immediately waved down to ask questions about it. So it's really cool, and I've said it from the beginning. You know, the thing that I love about this car is it is putting more electric vehicles on the road, and without it, they wouldn't have gone electric. So there's a lot of people who bought the Honda-E because they love the Honda-E. You know, not because they were looking at electric vehicles. You know, that they love the Honda-E, they love the concept, and because of that, they are now driving the EV. So that's really cool, isn't it? And also, this car seems to appeal to, you know, the real car people, the people who love vehicles. They remember the early Hondas, the later Hondas, and this is sort of inspired by a lot of that. So yeah, that's really exciting, and something that I really am happy with this car. So I mean, probably my favourite things about the car is just the design, really, from a driver's point of view. I really love the screens. There's lots of screens. I have it set up. I have my Apple CarPlay running maps on the closest screen. I have my my sort of audio, whatever's going on with audio on the further away one, and the, you know, the cluster, if you call it that, in front of the wheel gives you all your information about your cruise control, range, speed, obviously, all that sort of stuff. You've also got this glass roof, which is cool. You don't have mirrors, so you sort of don't have anything obstructing your side view. So you sort of feel like you're you know, sitting in a house with a nice view. You know, you've got sort of lots of light in here. You've got just sort of glass everywhere. You've got the digital aspect. You've got all the information you could possibly want in front of you, and so that's really cool. Love the drive. Yeah, just it's just a lot of fun. It's got the go-kart feel. It's just, you know, put your foot down, the EV power, and so it's got steering assist with adaptive cruise, which is pretty standard now. One thing I've sort of spotted on this, which I really like, is the fact that you can use the lane keeping aid. Sorry if I'm not using Honda terminology, but the lane keeping is what I call it, with the semi-autonomous steering assist. You can use that without the cruise control, which from an EV nerd's point of view like me, I like to get reasonable efficiency, and cruise control in every car I've ever driven is super clumsy. You set it to 100k and come to a hill and boom, full power, all of a sudden you're using 113 kilowatt for no reason at all. So yeah, like, cruise control is pretty, you know, pretty average in an efficiency sense. So being able to enjoy the steering assist feature without having terrible efficiency is cool. I really like that. Couple of things that I've sort of found a little bit difficult is just the sort of the interface. There's quite a lot of things in there, and just trying to remember where they are and that sort of thing, I've found a little bit confusing. I haven't, although I've been driving for a while, I haven't been tinkering with it that much. I've just been driving to work, to get to work and home. So whether it's an Android based system, I use an iPhone. I've always struggled with Android phones, so it's probably me. But just, yeah, some of the things, I guess there's a lot of stuff in there. So learning where it all is may take some time, or maybe it is a little bit difficult. I'm not sure. I mean, I found the first time I drove a Tesla Model X, it was lol gas actually, ID. I struggled to make anything work. I couldn't get the heater to go, you know, while I was driving, even with autopilot on. But then we had a Model S at work that I drove for 2 or 3 months, and found it was quite the opposite in the end. So, you know, maybe it's just a case of finding out the buttons, but just a note there. So the size, I probably would have liked to done a few more road trips with this. We have a family of 4, and yeah, it's not really a family of 4 road trip sort of a car. So yeah, I mean, I found the size is a little bit more fun than practical, but I mean, that's kind of what you expect. I mean, I think, you know, this is really designed as someone who doesn't carry a bunch of gear with kids, or as a second car where they've got something else. So the range, I mean, a lot of people talk about the range on this car. It's obviously doesn't have a whopping 100 kilowatt hour battery. So the range is I think probably 170 to 200 is probably 170 on the open road. That's the bulk of what you've got though, so keep in mind, if you're going to do 170, you're going to arrive with single figure percentages at the charges, which is fine if you sort of know what you're in for. But yeah, I mean, I found, for me, I would happily drive this car up and down the country with no issues at all. The charging infrastructure around and other units is really amazing. So like, I've just been down to Wellington. I think last time I was talking to Sigurd down there, he was saying that the gaps are like 30 k's or like super small between each unit. So I mean, there's so much infrastructure. It's really not an issue. You know, if you can do 150 k's without sort of worrying too much about it, that's fine. On, you know, 400k range road trips with the battery cooling, you can do what you want, really. I mean, you could drive this car in theory, you know, through the night if you felt the need. I think with the battery, like, the people who've bought these so far, I generally don't think if it had another 100k's range that would be an advantage, or much of an advantage. I do believe that you know, as the world goes electric, just chucking 100 kilowatt hour batteries in everything is not the way to do it. You know, I mean, you need to be realistic about how much range we actually need for the cars we have, and I mean, this car here, because of its size, it's far better suited either a decent daily commuter, or, you know, short commuter with the ability to, you know, go for a fun drive in the weekend around the country. So I bumped into a driver who's, you know, got an I-Pace Jag 90 kilowatt hour battery, and you know, I was talking to them and they said, oh, we'd never take it, this is in Topol, we'd never take it to Auckland. And I said, why? And she said, oh, well, you know, what if we forgot to plug it in the night before? You know, that sort of stuff. And it really, it sucks that 90 kilowatt hour battery's just wasted, basically. And there's so many people in Leafs that do like 120 k's a day with 10% spare that could make much better use of those kilowatt hours. Yeah, we should be mindful about what we're buying and what we're using it for, because I mean, there is obviously a carbon cost to building a whopping big battery. Right, so I'm back at Drive EV. I've averaged 16.3 kilowatt hour per 100k, so that's for the full journey. Return journey, that's 857.9 kilometers is on the trip, which is pretty cool. So the efficiency is really good. I think I probably used more going down than I should have done. I was very naughty, and I do apologise. Going up the desert road on those, to be fair, I had a bit of fun on the way home too, but on the way in, the climb on the desert road with all the windy corners, probably going up there, accelerating out of the corners wasn't great for range, so sorry. Anyway, efficiency pretty impressed with. I love the ride. I've spent, I don't know how many hours in this car over the last couple of days, and it feels good, you know, feels comfortable. It's a little bit, you get a little bit of hop on the desert road, on the sort of the big dips in the road, which you'd expect from a short wheelbase car, but I think the ride is great. The ID3, which I did the same journey in a couple of weeks ago, was better. It was probably the best thing I've ever ridden in. so that's a hard benchmark, but yeah, that thing was amazing over those dips that I was just talking about. So but no, really happy with the way it all went, and we can sort of comfortably say that this car's doing about 175 out of a charge. So, 160 on the open road is pretty doable, and I think well over 200 is easy around town. Again, if you try and lighten that right foot. So so that's 2 months with Pikachu. Thanks for watching. That's the story.